Good evening, students, and let us thank you for joining us this evening for our town hall. This evening, we are interested in sharing with you our contingency plans as we know them today for fall 2021 opening. In preparation for these discussions, we have held a number of meetings through work groups that I've appointed back in January to take a very serious look at the circumstances surrounding the state of North Carolina, surrounding the nation as a whole, and the world in general, and the impact of COVID-19, where we are in the midst of the pandemic, where we are in administering vaccines across our nation and across our state as well as where we see the virus trending in terms of positive cases and as they may impact our state and our nation, but also how many hospitalizations as well as unfortunate deaths that may be occurring across our nation and the state as well. A lot is going on. We understand that, we really do. And we certainly thank you for all of your resilience this past year. You have done remarkably well. And we have been honored to serve you throughout this academic year. We want to give a special thanks to Ms. Brenda Caldwell and the Caldwell administration for the excellent student leadership that's been provided throughout the year. She and her team have served you well. They have been engaged very enthusiastically and authentically in representing your interests and concerns and discussions and helping to advise us throughout the year. And many of our students, along with faculty and staff, have been a part of the work groups who are working very closely with other administrators on our campus to help us think about how we will be opening the university this coming fall. I also want to take this time to congratulate all of our graduating seniors this May 2021. We look forward to celebrating your successes on May 9th for commencement at 8:30 a.m. in Truist Stadium. And all of our graduates who completed their degrees last year, May 2020 and December 2020 graduates as well, as we will celebrate this time face-to-face with you graduation on May 9th on Sunday afternoon at 4:00 p.m. in Truist Stadium as well. You have done incredibly well, and again, we thank you. We have looked at all of the circumstances surrounding how we anticipate the circumstances will appear in fall 2021. We continue to monitor CDC regulations and requirements. We continue to monitor executive orders issued by Governor Roy Cooper for our state as well, so that we are ensuring that we are in compliance with those expectations. We also continue to engage with the president of the university system and all chancellors and the board of governors as we think about how all of our universities, with the guidance provided through the president for all of the universities, to ensure that we are developing contingency plans, to ensure that we're opening the university in a healthy and safe way for all of our employees and certainly all of our students as well. And what you'll hear from us this evening reflects the executive orders today, and we anticipate those executive orders will appear in the coming months, and what the CDC has issued in terms of guidance as well. You should know that we expect that we will still be social distancing this coming fall. We will still be requiring wearing masks, and we will surely be expecting that we will be washing our hands on a regular basis and sanitizing the campus in a holistic way as well. You'll hear that today. While you are hearing through all forms of media and the news that some states Public universities, the California state system, the University of Maryland system, and a host of private universities are indicating the requirement that all faculty and staff, administrators, and students will be required to be vaccinated when they return to the university in the fall. Here in North Carolina, there is a law that defines what are required vaccinations that students are expected to have. These are defined by law. The COVID-19 vaccines are not a part of that legislation at this moment. So by all accounts of legal review, we as a university system are not able to require this of our employees or our students in preparation for returning this coming fall. Now, unless the legislature changes the law, and at this moment, there are no indications that the law will be changed. So we will not be requiring that all our employees and students be vaccinated to return this fall. We are strongly encouraging all of our employees and all of our students to seek vaccination, strongly encouraging you to do so, because we think that creates the very best circumstance for all of us to be the safest in our interactions throughout the coming year as we make provisions for opening our university in fall 2021. If there are changes in the legislation, we will certainly keep you informed about those expectations as well. So again, thank you for joining us. We have a very full agenda, and we certainly will make provisions for questions following the presentations this evening as well. And you'll be able to ask those questions through the Q&A available to you on the bottom of your viewing device. So we look forward to hearing from you as part of your questions as well. In preparation for our conversations in academic and administrative operations, I will call on Provost Burrow McEwen to now come forward and share perspectives about academic and research operations. Provost McEwen.
Thank you, Chancellor, and good afternoon, students, parents, other family members who are joining us this evening. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share with you just a little bit about the preparations that we have made and continue to refine as we move into summer of 2021 and fall of 2021. Special congratulations to those students who are graduating this semester. We are so happy to be able to offer commencement face-to-face for the first time in 3 semesters. And we know that this is an exciting time for all of us. I hope final exams are going well, and I wish you all the best for those. Next slide, please. So a great deal of planning has been in progress for several weeks. We have been planning for a couple of months now. And if you look at the chart in front of you, you will get a sense of the framework that we have been using and the various units on our campus that are engaged in planning and making sure that when we return to campus this fall, we will return in much larger numbers. We're opening the campus to all of our students, and that we will return to an environment that is safe, because that is the most important element of everything that we're doing. We feel that it is our responsibility to make sure that our students, our faculty, our staff are all safe. So if you take a look at the graphic in front of you, you will see that there is a committee working on academic matters and research, and that is the first one. Then there is one focusing on business and finance. There is another that is focused on student affairs and enrollment management. Then top right, there is another that is focused on athletics, Communications, making sure we get the message out and that everybody hears and understands what's going on and can ask the right kinds of questions. And then, of course, last but not least, health and wellness, which is top of mind for us as we plan for the fall semester. And then in the middle, we have all the units on our campus, which continue to support all these conversations and these planning. So although we may not have a special committee that is working on these things, their thoughts and their voices are integrated in all of these conversations. And then, of course, I want to assure you that when working groups and committees are planned, we make sure to include administrators, faculty, staff, and our students. Students are represented because we want to be sure to hear student voices. Next slide, please. So I'm going to talk just a little bit about some of the things that are happening in academic affairs specifically. And then when I pause, I will ask Dr. Eric Muth, who is responsible for the Division of Research, to say anything that he needs to add on research and what's going on in our research facilities and our labs. So for the summer sessions of 2021, we will continue to offer online learning largely for most of our courses. We want to do this because of the convenience it offers you to be able to go home, to have experiential learning opportunities, and still to be able to continue to learn, whether you're trying to get caught up because you fell a little bit behind, or you're trying to push a little bit forward so you can graduate on time or a little bit early. Please know that there is some institutional funding that is available to support students who are taking courses this summer, both sessions of summer school. And we're looking to fund around 6 credit hours of courses. So if you have courses you wish to take, this is a very good time to do so. You're going to get some financial support to help you with that. Fall of 2021, we are planning to have our campus look like it did pre-pandemic. So we like to say it will be more similar to the fall of 2019 than it will be to the fall of 2020. Some of the changes, of course, as the Chancellor mentioned in his introduction, is that we will still be in a pandemic, maybe at a better stage of the pandemic, but we are probably still going to have some restrictions, and we will all need to be very responsible in our behaviors and follow the guidelines that are presented to us, guidelines around the same things we have always been doing these last 3 semesters, wearing our masks and social distancing and so forth. Because as I said before, it is so important that we keep each other safe. One of the differences in the plan will be where we will end our semester. We're going to begin on time. The academic calendar is posted. Feel free to take a look at it. But one change that might not be represented as clearly as you might expect it on the calendar is what happens after Thanksgiving. So the semester pauses at Thanksgiving, so you can go home to your family and enjoy the Thanksgiving break. Instead of returning to the campus after Thanksgiving for the 4 days of classes and then to move into final exams, we will be asking all of our students to remain at home, and our professors will engage with you in the virtual space, so with online or with remote learning courses. And that would be for the last 4 days of the semester. And then, of course, December 3 is reading day, and then we move into final exams, which will largely be administered in the virtual space. Students who are graduating in the fall of 2021 will more likely than not be on campus preparing for the commencement ceremony. And if there are other students like athletes or others who need to be on campus, then arrangements will be made to accommodate you. As you pay attention to the fall semester, please note that Faculty will return on the 13th. Faculty typically are not on campus between the middle of May and the middle of August. So those of you who need to interact face-to-face with your advisors, you may have that opportunity. You certainly will have access to them via Zoom. They will begin to return around the 13th of August, and classes will begin on August 18th. We are going to celebrate Labor Day this year as we have done for many years. We did not do that last year because of the pandemic, but we're hoping to be able to do Labor Day this year and also fall break. So fall break is on your schedule. We do hope that you will continue to be responsible, however, because it is better to be safe than sorry. As I said before, as we pause for Thanksgiving, we will switch to remote and online teaching for those 4 days that lead into our reading day, and then the semester ends with final exams. Your faculty will be mostly here on campus, and those who are teaching online, you will continue to engage with them in that space. I hope you have become a little bit more familiar. Your department chairs and your deans will be making decisions about which courses are offered online and which ones are offered on campus, but most of them will be on campus. I know that many students engage in co-op and in competitions and all kinds of travel experiences. I just want to remind everybody that we are still in the middle of a travel ban, which means that we are not approving normal travel outside of our campus or outside of the state of North Carolina. However, if there are any special considerations, please share those with your department heads, your faculty, your deans, so that they can be given special consideration. The last point on this slide does not have anything to do with students, but we had our conversation with our faculty and our staff yesterday, and that one was for them. I'm going to pause at this point and ask Dr. Moot to make any statements that he has around research on our campus for the summer and fall of this year. Thank you very much, and we'll get to the questions a little bit later.
Thank you, Provost. Good evening, students. I will say that I have 2 daughters, a college freshman and a college senior, and through them, I know what a difficult, challenging year this has been to you all. So congratulations on making it through, and congratulations to those of you who will graduate this weekend. In terms of research, we hope to continually open up labs to a greater and greater extent, which hopefully will afford those of you who do research in labs a greater opportunity to do so. This summer and fall, we continue to follow the three W's in the labs. And unless something changes, we should be able to continue to afford more research opportunities for you in the fall. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Provost McEwen and Dr. Muth. I will next have input from Dr. Padanda Webb on health and wellness protocols. Dr. Webb.
Thank you, Chancellor, and good evening, students. Thanks for taking time out today to listen. Next slide, please. So COVID-19 testing, as you all probably are very much aware, we offer rapid testing and PCR testing in the Student Health Center, and that is still available. It will be available through the summer and certainly into the fall months. So we encourage testing as you see it necessary. Re-entry testing, kind of like what we did for the spring, will still be required for the fall. So if you are planning to live in the residence halls or student housing, testing will be required prior to move-in. Mandatory testing is for when a cluster has been identified in a particular residence hall or a particular area or group of people. So you may be required to test in a case like that if you find yourself within a particular situation where you may be considered high risk. I want to make sure that we encourage everyone to be vaccinated. Fully vaccinated individuals will require less testing. Next slide. So again, we still have the vaccine clinic that is offered in the Alumni Event Center, and I encourage you to take full advantage of that. Our focus for the fall will primarily be on prevention. So we're really going to be pushing vaccines. If you are straddling the fence on whether or not to get a vaccine and you're just unsure or you have questions, feel free to email me and I'll answer some of those questions if you're someone who's just not really sure about whether this is something that's right for you. The clinic is on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We're planning to do a pop-up clinic during the freshman welcome week. Although it's during freshman welcome week, that clinic is certainly open to anybody, faculty, staff, students, even parents. If they are in town during that particular time, they are eligible for vaccination if you would like to do that. Non-vaccinated students will be encouraged to test on a routine basis. Vaccines are available again for everybody, students, faculty, staff, students, and the general community. And we do offer the Moderna vaccine that's available now. Next slide. Safety protocols. So we are working to update the Aggies Care website to make sure that all of the information is consistent with the CDC guidelines, and we're giving you the most up-to-date information. So that is something that we're actively working on. So you'll see some changes there. We're working with Housing and Residence Life to make sure that we are providing a safe environment for students to move back into and to remain safe throughout the fall and the spring semesters. We're also working with the Office of Accessibility Services. There are plenty of people that really have a tough time overcoming the effects of COVID, whether it's decreased concentration or whatever the issue is. The Office of Accessibility Services is available to you as a student if we need to work through some things there. And I also want to encourage holistic care. Counseling services is available and is able to offer any counseling that you may need with anxiety or depression related to the pandemic. So please, please, please reach out to them. They're available 7 days a week. And the Student Health Center has psychiatric services for those who may require medication management. Next slide. Wastewater surveillance testing. This is something that we began this spring semester, but we will really be relying on wastewater surveillance testing. And basically what that means is we have isolated 12 manholes throughout campus where we're able to go in and pick out a sample out of that manhole. The research team on our campus is testing for COVID in those areas, and we're able to determine which areas we need to target testing for. So if we determine that there's a high level of COVID near Barbie Hall or near Pride Hall, then we know that we can take a testing team into that particular residence hall to make sure that we're keeping people safe in that particular residence hall. The dashboard update will continue. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday updates. It will give you the positivity rating, the number of tests that have been performed, the number of positive employees and students, and any clusters that have been identified. So I encourage you to go to the website to stay abreast of that information. Next slide. If you have any questions or concerns about anything, feel free to post them in the chat box. Again, feel free to email me if you have any questions with regards to COVID testing or the vaccine, and I am here and available for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Webb. Student Life, Dr. Pierce.
Yes. Good evening, students and all members of the Aggie family. The Student Life presentation this evening is designed to provide you with information on how we will reopen all units in student affairs. Next slide, please. We'll start with Student Health Center. You have heard from our fabulous Executive Director, Dr. Webb. Her unit will continue with COVID-19 testing, continue with the vaccine clinics, and encourage vaccinations. The Healthy Brothers, Healthy Sisters program will continue to require education for all new freshmen this fall. And again, the clinic hours for 21-22, fall and spring, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Monday through Friday. And again, virtual services visits are available on Saturday and Sunday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. So students, you have service through the Student Health Center 7 days a week. Next slide, please. The Student Center. The center will return to normal operations as posted on the screen, beginning on August the 14th. The flow of traffic will be normal or by the governor's executive orders or guidelines as it relates to social distancing. with face covering requirements and capacity. We'll refresh all of the signage, the 3 Ws throughout the building. There will be extensive cleaning and disinfecting measures hourly throughout the facility. External individuals and groups reservations are restricted for fall 2021. Service areas will return to normal with face covering restrictions with top priorities for our students. Next slide, please. The Campus Recreation Center will return to normal operating hours Monday through Thursday and Friday as stated on the screen, and again open on Saturday and Sunday. Normal capacity and modified capacity during peak hours starting on the first day of classes. The facility will be limited to currently enrolled students only. Face covers will be required along with the COVID-19 questionnaire and temperature checks. We will close for 2 hours for deep cleaning. This way we can keep everyone safe. Group exercise classes will have no more than 25 participants. And again, only currently enrolled students will be allowed in the facility. They will continue to offer virtual group exercise programming and esports. This option is open to all students as well. Intramural sports program will be modified with face covering and the COVID-19 questionnaire and temperature checks, while participating in in-person programming such as flag football, basketball, volleyball, etc. All indoor activities require face coverings for all students. Club sports travel will be limited to the university guidelines. Next slide, please. The university's events center reservations for external individuals and groups are again restricted for fall 2021. Capacities for internal events will return to normal with face coverings required by the governor's executive orders and guidelines as related to social distancing with face coverings. Faculty, staff, and student clubs and organizations will be able to secure reservations through, again, the electronic online 25 Live system, according to the dates, the following dates. Academic departments will start, can start May the 3rd, and academic venues. The departments and divisions, again, May 3rd. The student center, clubs and organizations, their times will be determined by the student activities office at a later date. Next slide, please. Housing and residence life. We again will have a tiered move-in process for select student groups. Each group will have a designated date, time, and location. Special populations will start moving in June the 7th through August the 12th. Our new students will join us on August the 13th, 14th, and the morning of the 15th. Our continuing students will start in on the 15th and continue through the 16th and the 17th. All residents, all halls, all facilities will receive thorough cleaning 7 days a week, multiple times a day. Residence hall expectations will be communicated to each student upon arrival through a series of virtual residence hall meetings facilitated by the Housing and Residence Life staff. Multiple locations have been identified for isolation and quarantine use. If a student if a student tests positive, they will need to relocate to these 2 areas. We again will have our healthcare coordinators who provide services for our students. We will have linen service, meals, and thin clients. Visitation for fall 2021 semester will be restricted depending on infection rates. Next slide, please. Our dining and retail operation. All operations will open with normal hours and 100% capacity. Students will have to-go options, contactless payment, mobile ordering with limited self-service stations. They will execute measures for sanitation in all locations and provide cleaning services between meal serving periods. Everyone will be required to wear a face mask in the dining and retail operations. Next slide, please. In terms of the counseling center, their staff will train the campus community on how to recognize students in distress and make referrals to the counseling services. They will provide mental health consultation to students, faculty, and parents. They will offer outreach and groups, workshops, and training on mental health issues and trends, and information on sexual assault awareness and prevention. They will include current resources and self-help tools on the website of the Counseling Center. It will help students with personal, emotional, and developmental issues, academic skills training, career appraisals, HD, ADHD concerns, LD concerns, psychological assessment, testing, drugs and alcohol, and other addictive behaviors. Other campus training will include suicide prevention, trauma-informed care, gambling awareness prevention, the LGBTQIA safe zone training, mental health first aid. They will offer internships to our master students in counseling and social work. Our students serve as mental health advocates in the collegiate recovery programs, Active Minds, and other group supported or grant supported initiatives. Next slide, please. In terms of student activities, we will have a Plan A and a Plan B. Plan A will cover, hopefully if our numbers are down, we will be able to return to normal capacity and operation with face covering requirements. And we will continue the recommendation of vaccinations and the negative COVID test results. Our clubs and organizations will be able to return to normal programming and events with face covering requirements and continued recommendation of vaccine and negative test results. The homecoming committee is currently in discussion regarding activities and events. We will follow the CDC guidelines as well as any other orders from the governor's office. Next slide, please. Plan B. If we have to go to Plan B, we will begin the semester with virtual programming and then shift to a hybrid model after census date, while monitoring updates on scaling to a larger face-to-face programming and events. And with, again, continued recommendation of vaccination, and negative COVID test results. We will hold student meetings with all of our student groups to ensure that all parties are knowledgeable of the COVID requirements, restrictions before moving to more face-to-face events. We will modify and reduce capacity of on-campus homecoming events and reduce programming based on the given guidelines. Clubs and organizations will begin this semester with virtual programming and then shift to the hybrid model after census date, while monitoring updates to scaling to larger face-to-face programming and events. Next slide, please. The Blue and Gold Marching Machine, which is the band, is accepting auditions for 21-22 season for our current students. The band, the university band, is equipped and safe with appropriate PPEs for student instruction and will continue to follow the most current safety precautions as recommended by the CDC, the governor's office, and the UNC system and university officials. The band will continue to provide entertaining performances during home games that will engage the student population and the public while adhering to state and university guidelines and restrictions. Next slide, please. Enrollment management. For continuing students, the Enrollment Management Office will continue to serve students virtually via Zoom with limited in-person appointments due to space limitations. This is especially important if you have business with the Office of Financial Aid and Scholarships, the Registrar's Office, and the Treasurer's Office. All enrollment management communication page is available online at the following link that is provided on the screen. For our new students, Welcome Week activities are tentatively scheduled for August the 13th through the 21st. We will move forward with the hybrid model that incorporates in-person and virtual events with appropriate safety measures in place. And there will be additional opportunities for our continuing students who have not registered to register for courses in June. Next slide, please. For our TRIO, Student Support Services, enrollment will continue to offer virtual appointments for the fall semester. Virtual services include video and phone conferencing. In-person appointments will need to be scheduled 24 hours in advance by contacting the TRIO office through their Blackboard, email, or phone. In-person service options are available weekly on Tuesdays and through Thursday with pre-registration required. Walk-ins will be directed to a conference room where capacity will be limited. Students are required to wear masks for in-person visits. Students may submit documentation securely online with automated forms and the web portal or by the U.S. mail or fax. Tutoring will be available to students via the online platform Upswing. All large events, such as the open houses, welcome back resources, weekly freshman information sessions, fall senior recognition celebration, will transition to a virtual format. Recruitment drop-ins will be limited to 5 to 10 pre-registered students per session, again, due to limited space in the suite, with virtual options to accommodate larger groups. The flow of traffic will be adjusted to align with physical distancing guidelines, and signage will be placed in highly visible location throughout the suite. Next slide, please. Students, I provided for you 3 links: the Aggie Care link, the academic calendars for summer and fall, and information for our returning students. Next slide, please. I wish you good luck on your exams. The Division of Student Affairs wishes each of you a very productive summer. We look forward to seeing you to return to us in August of 2021. Please consider getting vaccinated. Please be mindful of your surroundings at all times. And please keep one another safe. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Pierce. We now have updates on facilities. Mr. Robert Pompey, Ms. Angela Peterson, and Mr. Andy Perkins. Mr. Pompey.
Good evening to our students and to your families and friends. We look forward to seeing you in the summer and definitely in the fall. What we wanted to update you on is our facilities and what we'll be doing to promote a clean and safe return. We have Andy Perkins, who is our Associate Vice Chancellor for Facilities, and Angela Peterson, our Associate Vice Chancellor for Campus Enterprises. They'll be talking to you about our academic and administrative buildings and our retail and our dining halls, respectively. So I will turn it over to them.
Next slide, please. Good evening, Aggie students. We would like very much for you to understand that our recommendations for your returning in the fall, as well as the spring session, will be encouraging you to, again, wear the mask, particularly indoors, in order to be able to continue to be safe, not only for yourselves, but for the folks around you. We also encourage that we will also continue to practice social distancing in terms of 6 feet apart, again, particularly inside of each of our facilities. And we want to encourage you to continue to wash your hands frequently as you go out through the day. One of the things that the Chancellor did mention in his introduction is that we strongly encourage that you recommend that you consider getting vaccinated for one of the 3 vaccines in order to make your experience when you return in the fall and the spring much more enjoyable. Because once you feel that you've been vaccinated, it provides all of us not only safety for yourself, but also safety for the other folks around you. Next slide, please. Throughout, starting this Monday, for the next 2.5 weeks, we will deep clean all of the academic and support facilities throughout the campus with our team of housekeeping folks to ensure that we have a very clean and disinfected areas, not only for the summer, but for when you return in the fall. We will do another deep cleaning the first 2 weeks in August in order to make sure that what we may not miss or what, as we use the facilities during the summer, to ensure that they are ready for your return as well in August. Next slide, please. We'll continue to do that for all of our auditoriums, as well as fitness and wellness areas and other areas that the students, you as students may be using, that you may be able to activate when you come back in the fall as well. We will concentrate on making sure we change all of the filters in our air handling units to make sure that we can maintain clear and good airflow throughout all of our facilities once you return in the fall as well. Next slide, please. We have ample supplies for PPE equipment. When you return, disinfecting spray, face coverings, hand sanitizers, and all the things that we feel, according to the CDC guidelines, are adequate for us to be able to continue to maintain a clean environment, not only for the facilities, but for you as well when you return in August. Next slide, please. In most of our reception areas, we will continue to have hand sanitizers available. We will continue to put up maintain the plexiglass in order for our high visible, high use areas. And we'll also continue to wipe down what we call hot spots. Those are the doors, handles, the elevator buttons, and all of those types of things to ensure that we maintain those also upon your return. Next slide, please. We'll also have amply demonstrated signage on all of our major areas for the elevators, for the computer areas, where we have hand sanitizers and wipes there for those. And we'll also continue to maintain the plexiglass shields for many of these high volume areas where students, faculty, and staff may congregate as they come to the various facilities. Next slide, please. We also recommend that as you use conference rooms and or spaces that you will have folks to have various meetings in, that we recommend that we continue to do virtual meetings where possible. But we also suggest very strongly that if you're meeting in person, that you wear the mask to ensure a safety for not only for yourselves, but for the folks who are in the meeting with you as well. Next slide, please. We have ample signage. We can tailor any signage to what our needs are for the fall and for the spring semester. We can get any signage that we need within 48 hours. So we'll be able to refresh not only the signage as we go through this month, but we'll refresh it again in August and throughout the year to ensure that all of us are practicing safe habits throughout the campus. Next slide, please. We'll continue to maintain the large auditoriums with social distancing, with the appropriate signage, so you can be able to see and understand where you need to be seated for the instruction in the large auditoriums. Next slide, please. As well as the medium and small auditoriums throughout the campus. Next slide, please. In terms of our office environments where you'll be visiting some of our faculty, we will continue to have the social distancing, provide masks for the staff as well as yourselves. And we'll also ensure that where we have cubicles that are back to back, we'll make sure, ensure that we have a distance separation between those cubiles in order to continue to have safe and safe activities for you as well as the faculty members. If in fact they need additional cleaning materials, we'd be more than happy to provide those as well as we go through the year. Next slide, please. In the laboratories where you will be participating with PIs, we will provide PPE equipment for you in order to clean the lab as you utilize it and or when you leave or you come in the morning. And so you can be able to, again, be able to have a sanitized and free area in the labs themselves. Next slide, please. In the classrooms, we'll continue to maintain the 6-foot distance. We understand that the CDC is looking at perhaps a 3-foot distance, but right now, until we get that additional guidance from the CDC, we will continue to have a 6-foot distance, reduce our capacity by 20%, and continue to have hand sanitizers and hand wipes in each of the classroom areas in order for you to use those as you participate in the classes throughout the day. Next slide, please.
Okay, good evening. A little update on what to expect when you return in the fall semester, during the fall semester as for the next academic year in Downing. As you know, as you come into our Downing facilities, we will continue to maintain our hand sanitizing stations. There will be at every entry and exit point of the location, whether you enter Williams, the marketplace, our bistros, our retail locations, you will see them at every entry and exit. We will continue to maintain, as you see in the picture, our plexiglass that has that sheer separation between you and the workers as we prepare to serve food for you in our operations. We will continue to have limited self-service station, which we would have an attendant that will be providing those services to you. And of course, the takeout will remain in Williams that you would have, that you will continue to enjoy throughout the academic year. Of course, we will still adhere to the 3 W's and all of our service areas as well as our high touch areas throughout the serving periods will continue to be maintained with the utmost of sanitation. Next slide, please. Our signage, as mentioned by Mr. Perkins, as well, we will be doing the exact same thing. Any guidelines that we change or modified, we will update our signages to reflect that. But when you return in the fall, we will make sure that we have all refreshed signage in place in all of our locations. Next slide, please. Our shuttles, we are currently and will still do the next academic as well, that the shuttles will be wiped down and disinfected daily. And actually, as the drivers do shift changes, we also do a disinfectant in between those as well. And if you haven't, I hope that you are using the Passio app. This is an app that we launched this year, but it tracks our shuttles arrival and the routes and what time to expect them. Very efficient app to use. And again, we will keep our plexiglass in place on our shuttles. We will continue to maintain our social distances on our shuttle and all of this, and everyone will be required to wear a mask. Next slide, please. Some of the things that are currently taking place that we are going to continue this fall that has been working great. And we listen to our students when they want contactless, features. So right now with the Get app, and I know that you are using it because I see you check it out in various locations throughout the semester using your mobile phone, where inside the Get app is your mobile credential. And mobile credential, all it is just your Aggie One card. In the mobile app, there's your ID that's embedded in that app that identifies who you are, connects you to your phone. Part of that app includes contactless payment that you can, in our retail operations, use contactless payment. We currently have mobile ordering in 2 locations, Cadova as well as in McAllister's. And coming this fall, we will have mobile ordering in all of our locations. And we have the option of photo submission where you can submit your ID to Aggie One card, as well if you wanted to go by the Aggie One card office, because it does have social distancing practices in place that you're able to do that as well. We will be doing e-tickets for athletic events or any student event that you may be participating in. You would have the opportunity of using e or digital tickets, which is another terminology you may use. And of course, we will have our keyless mailbox that you're currently doing. We will have it in place for the fall where you continue to have the keyless mailbox opportunity to use for your mail pickup and packages. Next slide, please.
All of our staff members are focused on one thing, and that is to make sure that we have a clean and sanitary facilities for your return in the fall. So we look forward to seeing you in the fall and have a great summer. Thank you very much.
Angela and Andy, thank you so much. Chancellor, that concludes our presentation.
Thanks very much, Robert, Andy, and Angela. Todd, at this time, we will open up for questions from our students.
Thank you, Chancellor. We have quite a few questions in here. As you might imagine, we've got students who are very curious about all the things that the panelists have talked about, and no small number of questions from them already in the queue here. So let's start off with just a topic that has drawn a lot of comment from the students. And I want to give Provost McEwen an opportunity to speak to this rather than read through all of the individual questions that we've gotten on pass fail. We're just going to hold up a couple here that are representative, we would say, of what we've been hearing from some of the other students. One of the students writes to say, what are the protocols around pass and fail? Because we have been suffering through bad Wi-Fi, professors who are difficult with communication, experiencing mental health crises while trying to maintain financial aid and scholarships. If the majority of the UNC system has implemented more than one pass-fail for this semester, why hasn't A&T been granted the same support or the same leniency? And students, there are quite a few of you who, as I said, who have raised questions related to this. So Provost, please answer as expansively as you can, and we'll let that answer stand for in representation of the rest of these questions.
Thank you, Todd. Students, I'm very well aware of concerns around pass-fail, and believe me, we invested a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of research in determining the direction in which we should go. We also had conversations with faculty and with students to hear a variety of voices on this matter. I serve with a team of other provosts in the UNC system, and we talk about this at some of our weekly or bi-weekly meetings. So it was not a decision that was taken lightly, and it certainly was not intended to penalize our students in any way, nor was it intended to ignore the challenges that we are facing. The challenges are very real, and if you will recall, there was considerable leniency in the first semester when we had to resort to virtual learning and teaching with very little preparation time in the spring of 2020. And we went to pass-fail. We did not choose pass-fail then because we believed it was the best option for students. We chose it as a response to what we knew were acute challenges that students faced. And like we do in any situation when we are challenged, we learn to be resilient. We learn to respond to the challenges before us. We do not lay down and be overcome by what is real and what exists. And so we know that it is not in the best interest of our students to have transcripts that are laden with pass-fails. First semester, you know, as I said, in the spring of 2020, we allowed students to choose whatever they needed. In the fall, we moved it to, I believe, 3. And this semester we moved it to 1. There has been quite a bit of conversation about everybody else is doing pass fail and we are being cruel and so forth. And so we try to determine what that really looks like. And what I have in front of me in terms of data around who's offering pass fail this semester, there are 5 institutions in the UNC system that are offering no pass fail options. There are 4 that are offering pass fail. We are offering a limited number. Everybody knows that. It is 1 for the undergraduates and none for the graduate students. You cannot fill your transcripts with pass fail. You may not now know whether you will want to go on to graduate school, whether you're going to want to go on to professional schools. Transcripts speak so much about how we are perceived by others as we try to access our next destinations. And we really do believe that we are acting in the best interest of our students when we limit the number of pass fails. And we did share, as we offered 1 additional one for this semester, that there would be none for the fall. So I would like for you to begin to think about that. We have also answered many questions on our FAQs that are posted. So most of those are there. I just want to say that if you have a serious circumstance that you are dealing with, as we do in any semester, we want you to let us know how we might assist you. Let us use the normal opportunities that are available in our university to respond to your needs. Let us see whether there is need for incompletes or there is need to offer special sections of courses during the summer when, as I said before, the university is supporting the course tuition for most of our summer courses this year. It is very important for you as students graduating from this university, as it is for the quality of the degree that you will hold and the reputation of our university, that we focus on learning and achieving the competencies and the skills that are important for our disciplines, not so much that we fill up our transcripts with pass fails. So I hope you do not consider this to be too harsh. This is not the intent. And I hope that those of you who really do have some challenges that require special attention, that you would let us know. Thank you.
Thank you, Provost, and for such a thoughtful and complete answer. Students, we know that this is not the answer that some of you would like. However, you have been heard, and this is the answer. And we hope that you will take the Provost's words to heart. This is intended to be in your best interest academically and in your long-term best interest as you go forth from North Carolina A&T. Let's move on to some other questions here. One student asked, and Provost will stay with you for this one, how will we be able to socially distance in classrooms that seat 40 students and don't allow for 6 feet apart social distancing?
Yes, we're still having those conversations, and we are planning and we're listening and we're thinking. And there is not a whole lot of likelihood that if we continue to be at a stage in the pandemic where it is necessary for us to socially distance 6 feet apart, that we will be able to return to a fall semester of 2021 that looks like our fall semester of 2019. If things are at the state where we do have to do all of the protocols with which we have become so accustomed, then we are going to have to look to some of the elements of our plan B, because it means that we would still be in the midst of a very serious pandemic. Returning to our campus in the fall of 2021, with more of us being here on campus to study and learn, means that we would be at a better stage. More people would have been vaccinated so that there would be some easing of the restrictions under which we now function.
Thank you, Provost. And while we're on that theme of social distancing, let's turn back to Dr. Webb here for a moment. Dr. Webb, even though we have a rate of vaccination that's going up rather rapidly here, and a great many of our students will return to campus this fall fully vaccinated, why will it still be so important for social distancing and masking protocols to remain in place?
So what we know, since vaccines are not going to be required, we still have to social distance, because vaccines are not going to be mandated for everybody. Outside of that, the governor is the person that makes the decision on social distancing along with the CDC, and though that's where we get our guidelines from on what it is that we implement on campus. The other piece of this is, even after you get the vaccine, there is still a very small chance. So the vaccine is typically about 95% effective. But if you're in an environment where you have people who are positive for COVID, you still have a very small chance of contracting COVID. You're not likely to be sick or to die of COVID or even know that you have it, but the possibility still does exist. So it's important to still wear masks, particularly in an environment where we know that not everybody is going to take advantage of vaccines, but it is truly important to consider getting vaccinated.
Great insight, Dr. Webb. And also, the vaccines have not been around that long. What do we know in terms of their efficacy over a long period of time? How long will somebody stay protected once they are vaccinated?
So there is some preliminary data out suggesting that there may be a need for a booster vaccine after a year or so. We don't have that information confirmed right now. So this may be something that we're doing annually, similar to what we're doing with the flu shot. But I will make sure that everybody gets that information when it is finally published and available. And I will make sure that the Student Health Center is equipped to be able to provide those services to our students.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Webb. So bottom line for all of the students out there, we're still learning about the virus. We're still learning about vaccinations. So continue to protect yourself. Do common sense things and keep protections in place to ensure that you don't become infected and that you don't pass on an infection to someone else. Let's move back to Dr. Pierce for the next one. Dr. Pierce, one of the students asks, is there enough housing for freshmen? And if there isn't enough housing for a big incoming freshman class, what will happen?
Well, yes, we do have enough housing for freshmen. We're looking forward to receiving them very soon. Yes, we do. We're ready for them.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Pearson. One more for you. For summer 2021, I'm sorry, we'll make this for you or for Angela Peterson. For summer 2021, what will the cafeteria hours be?
We will post those when they're ready. We'll post them on the appropriate website.
Okay. Thank you very much. Do you want to add to that at all, Ms. Peterson?
Okay, yes, as Dr. Pierce said, they will be posting as soon as they are ready. We're looking to do 2 meals a day out of the marketplace, and that we'll make sure that housing, as well as email sent to students, and it'll be posted in social media. So we're working very hard to bring closure to that so that we can get it out and they'll know about it this week.
Great. So stay tuned, students. The answers are coming on those, on that information for the summer. Speaking of the summer, Provost, let's go back to you for this one. Why are there no in-person classes for the summer?
We did not originally schedule in-person classes for the summer because summer school schedules are established in the fall of the previous year. So at that time, it was very difficult to determine what the trend was going to be in terms of this disease. And so we kept to the schedule that was similar to last year's schedule in the summer of 2020. However, we do believe that offering a good, selection of online courses offers students the opportunity to engage in internships and co-ops during summer school and still be able to take a class or two students are able to return home to their families and their communities and still be able to take a class or two. However, I want to assure everybody that we are working very closely with our deans and our department chairs and trying to make sure that we respond to the needs of our students. So there will be some classes on campus, and we are bringing those online as soon as we can.
Provost, registration for the summer sessions ended on April 30th. Do we anticipate reopening? And if so, do you have an idea when?
Absolutely, we will reopen. We will reopen for summer one immediately after commencement, and then we will continue to remain open for summer two.
Great, thank you, Provost. We'll give you a break here for a moment and ask a couple of more questions about housing. Dr. Pierce, let's go back to you. There seems to be some perception among some students that there is no housing available. And this student says there's not enough housing for all of the students currently enrolled and incoming students when they arrive. You're saying that's not the case?
No, it's not. Is Dr. Lowney on the call?
I don't believe Dr. Lowney is here.
Okay. Yes, we do have space. I don't know. Now the application process has opened and closed for continuing students. So maybe that's where that's coming from. If we open it at a certain time and then we close it, and the students must be registered full time to be eligible, to live on campus.
So if a student is looking for housing for the summer and is not able to get on-campus housing, what suggestions do we have for those students?
Oh, we'll have housing for the summer. Summer's no problem.
I'm sorry, I had my mistake, Vice Chancellor. I meant for the fall.
Oh, for the fall.
I guess, Todd, if you don't mind, Dr. Pierce, a couple years ago, we strategically made a decision to acquire a number of different apartments to make sure that we address any housing concerns. We are well positioned to house all our students that are interested in staying in university housing, whether it's in our traditional residence halls or apartments or
Yes.
we have on campus.
Great, thank you, Mr. Pompey. Appreciate that. Provost, let's go back to you for a pair here that we'll try to ask together. One student surfaces a question that perhaps others might have. This student asks, is it possible to take all classes virtually? Because I don't feel quite comfortable in person yet. And then a second student says, are face-to-face classes allowing online options? Some students still aren't comfortable moving to in-person, and most classes are only offered on campus.
Yes. We are listening. We do want to be very responsive. So there will be more on-campus courses in the fall semester, assuming that things continue to get steadily better. But there will still be online courses, and there will probably even be some remote courses. We have also invested tremendously in upgrading our classrooms that allow us to be able to capture what is occurring in our classrooms with the students who are present and record it and make it available to those students who may need to remain online, remain in a virtual space for reasons that are quite varied. So the one thing I just need to stress with everybody is that if you have concerns, please make sure we know about them. If you know no one else, you certainly know your faculty, someone with whom you have taken a class. You should know your academic advisor. You certainly should know your department chair. Maybe you know your dean. And if none of that works, then you can send it to me. And my name is right on my photo in the little Zoom box. And if you type it into the ANT website search, excuse me, my email will pop right up for you.
Great, thank you very much, Provost. We appreciate that. Here is a question that we heard a lot in yesterday's town hall, and that is, will the vaccine be required in fall 2021? And the answer to that is no. We are not able to require vaccination, but we are strongly encouraging all students, staff, and faculty to get vaccinated, to take advantage of the vaccine clinics that are happening at the Alumni Foundation Event Center, through the Student Health Center, and to get vaccinated for fall 2021. The more quickly that we all do that, the more quickly we'll get toward herd immunity that will really help us take the pandemic in North Carolina in the right direction. Dr. Pierce, this one is for either you or Dr. McEwen. Will freshmen have new student orientation in person this summer? And will there be 2 new student orientations for incoming freshmen?
I'll start. There will be a hybrid
Mhm.
student orientation this year. And again, please remember, I keep saying it, it depends on how things are going with the pandemic. But right now, at this point, we are planning to have some hybrid activities. We are also planning to have some activities where we will use large outdoor venues, you know, for taking photographs and for doing some social things where we believe we can distance ourselves and be very respectful of the directives that we have, and most importantly, be responsible to each other, and still begin to feel the Aggie spirit. So I cannot sit here and tell you that we are going to congregate in a small space and have a wonderful party, but I can tell you that we should be able to use our Aggie Stadium and other facilities to do some special things. And as we improve around the health of the community, then we will be able to add more and more to what we can do for our students.
Yes. That is correct. We will have new student, we will have Welcome Week. And we do have activities planned both virtual and in our large theater and the stadium.
Thank you, Dr. Pierce, and thank you, Provost McEwen. While we're with you, Dr. Pierce, which residence halls are open for freshmen to live in this fall?
Well, the traditional halls have always been open for the freshmen. They are reserved for the freshmen.
So the traditional halls that have
Yes.
always been open to them will continue to be open to them
Yes,
again.
of
this
course.
fall. And while we're with you, one more on residence halls, both for you and for Dr. Webb. Will COVID positive students be placed in one of our residence halls again this year as an isolation hall? Dr. Pierce?
Yes, that is correct. We will use Haley Hall again.
So
And
that
those students who test positive or who are sick will be placed there, and we will again have the care coordinators there to aid them and to assist them.
until they conclude their quarantine or
Yes.
isolation period.
Yes.
Dr. Webb, anything you would like to add to that?
No, not at all. I think Dr. Pierce covered it.
Great, and we heard great things about how well those students were taken care of in Haley this year. So kudos to the Student Health Center staff and to the Residence Hall staff for providing all the great hospitality while those students coalesce there. So let's move on then back to you, Dr. Webb, for one more here. And this is a little bit of a repeat of the previous one. But for those who are fully vaccinated, will we still have to wear masks in small groups around other people who are also fully vaccinated? And if so, why is that?
So the mask mandate, the university has a mask mandate. So mask will still be required on campus. Again, we still encourage you to vaccinate, because what we do know is that you can congregate within a small setting, and you're eating and you're drinking, and you're potentially taking your mask down. So you still want to make sure that you are protecting yourself. So mask is a requirement on campus.
Right. So continue to take those protections. Students, we know they're inconvenient, but they're really not too terribly tough. Let's just keep on keeping on and do what we did to keep campus safe and healthy this year. One student writes in to ask, so is fall break only 2 days? Well, yes, fall break is 2 days. That's the traditional length of fall break. And we will also be observing Labor Day this fall. We didn't observe fall break or Labor Day last year. So those will be 3 break days that will be available to students this fall in a semester that will conclude with in-person instruction on November 23rd. So just remember that you're getting some time off during the term. In-person classes concluding November 23rd, and then an additional 4 days of online instruction only concluding on December 4th. Dr. Pierce, back to you for this one. Is there a date set now for honors student move-in?
Yes, a date for special population students, that calendar is under development now. Yes, they will have a specific date, time, and location to report to the campus. And we will be releasing all of that at one time.
The
Great.
director of the honors program indicated that new honors students, new freshmen will be coming in on the 12th of August, and the others will return with the regular student population.
Thank you, Provost. Let's turn back to Mr. Pompey for this one. Mr. Pompey, this student writes, I was told that if housing was full, the application would be closed. It's clear now that housing is full, but the application was not closed, according to this student. Will we receive a refund if we did not get housing in that sign-up period?
So Dr. Pierce, I will let you answer that, and I'll follow up on anything that you may have.
Okay, Dr. Lowney is there, but Todd, he cannot speak.
Oh,
So I do think that if a student pays for the housing application and for whatever reason they're not able to receive housing,
Oh, I understand. The housing application is non-refundable.
there we go. Okay, thank you for the answer, Dr. Pierce. Dr. Webb, let's return to you for this fine point on vaccination. A parent writes in to say, please confirm if I am correct in my understanding. If my student is fully vaccinated, she will not have to test prior to moving on campus.
Yes, that is correct. Move-in will require you to be fully vaccinated and show proof that you've been fully vaccinated or pre-test. So that's correct.
Thank you, Dr. Webb. And what will we ask for by way of proof of vaccination?
Your vaccine card. So bring your vaccine card with you, and we will have a student health center official at the check-in verifying that information upon move-in.
Great, thank you, Dr. Webb. Dr. Pierce, back to you for one more here. Where do I go in order to sign up for club or intramural sports? And will there be tryouts for some of the competitive teams?
Well, the recreation center is where you will report to sign up for the intramural sport team that you are interested in. Again, the recreation center is the location. Now, what's the second half of the question, Todd?
The second question is, will there be tryouts?
Not for the intramural sports competitions, or well, intramural sports activities.
Got it. Got it.
But again, also now remember, they have to wear a mask, and they'll be tested. They'll have to take the COVID-19 questionnaire and a temperature check.
Great. That doesn't sound too tough. So if you're inclined to participate in club or intramural sports, please make it over to the rec center, sign up, and you'll be good to go. This next one is for Tom Jackson, our CIO. Mr. Jackson, I'll give you a second here to get your mic off. The student writes in to say, I'm having trouble logging into my Aggie Access online. And perhaps this is an incoming student who's having trouble logging into their Aggie Access online. What should I do? Mr. Jackson?
You should contact our help desk. There are 3 ways you can contact the help desk. The first is to send email to helpdesk@ncat.edu. The other is to call help desk number, and I will try to find that for you.
Great, thank you. Mr. Jackson, feel free to jump in when you locate that in a moment. We can.
The help desk number is 336-334-7195.
Great, 336-334-7195, 334-7195, and area code 336 for the help desk. Thank you, Mr. Jackson. We have another question here. I'm not really sure who should take this one because I'm not sure about the ruling here. So please, someone help out. Will the rule about non-immediate family death consideration change? It's quite offensive and inconsiderate of non-traditional families. I'm not familiar with the non-immediate family death consideration, and so perhaps one of our panelists who is could jump in.
I am not at all sure what that is referring to, but my suggestion would be that if there's special consideration that is needed, please tell someone, especially in your academic unit, like your department chair or your dean.
I'm purely guessing here because the question did not go into any greater detail here, but I'm wondering whether this has to do with an academic consideration for perhaps a test or academic assignments where someone missed class because of a non-immediate death in the family or a non-immediate family death.
And if that is the case, then, you know, again, if you share just a little bit, so we know what we need to do to assist you, or maybe call the counseling center, that might be another path to take. But please don't be silent about it. Let us know how we might help.
If you are struggling with that, please contact Academic Affairs or the Counseling Center, and someone on the A&T team will guide you towards some satisfaction
Yes.
with this. Thank you, Provost. Dr. Pierce, back to you. You mentioned Welcome Week just a few moments ago. What are the dates for Welcome Week?
Okay, they were in the presentation. I don't have them commended to memory.
Okay.
Dr. Pierce, it's August 13th through the 21st.
Okay, look at that. All right.
Great on the recall. Thank you, Dr. Webb. So freshman Welcome Week dates, August 13th through the 21st. Mark it down. Get ready for a fun and exciting Welcome Week. Excuse me. Dr. Pierce, one more for you. Will students be able to leave any of their items in the residence hall at the end of the spring semester? And will dorms be cleaned before students return? I'm assuming this person means for fall
Yes.
21.
Okay, the first portion, yes, all personal items must be removed from the residence halls. Yes, and then the halls will be thoroughly cleaned as they always are.
Sure, we undergo
Yes.
deep cleaning in the residence hall,
Yes.
students and parents over the summer time, particularly so last summer. And so you can rest assured that before students come in for the fall term, each residence hall will undergo thorough and deep cleaning and be completely ready for student occupancy this fall. Ms. Peterson, let's turn back to you for this one. A student says the health and food safety protocols in Williams Dining Hall and other food places around campus have been unacceptable. This is disturbing because there's a deadly virus going around. Can someone please address this and implement some sort of accountability for workers within these spaces? If we pay money to eat on campus, we should be able to eat on campus without the risk of getting sick from COVID and other easily avoidable foodborne illnesses. I'm not sure exactly what conditions or protocols are being referred to here, but perhaps you could speak to what health and safety food protocols are present in Williams and other dining facilities around campus.
Yes, Todd. In order to even open up and serve food to our students, guests, or the Aggie community, we have to abide by strict health code standards. We do receive surprise inspections from my Gifford County Health Inspector. In fact, they was just here 2 weeks ago, and they routinely come by. They give us announced visits as well as unannounced visits. And so we have to apply by code standards. If for any reason we are in violation, we are not able to serve food to our students. So there are protocols that we have to abide by in order to serve meals in our dining and food retail operations.
Great. If someone sees something when they're in one of our dining areas that makes them uncomfortable, or they feel it perhaps might be a violation of those protocols, what would you suggest they do?
Definitely report it to a manager or supervisor on site. They can report it to Aggie Dining. They can report it to Campus Enterprises. They can come by my office or the dining office. but definitely report it immediately because the safety and well-being of our students is first and foremost. And that is what we do as we prepare foods, is keep in mind the safety of our students as we prepare meals on a daily basis.
Thank you, Ms. Peterson, and I can vouch that we have some wonderful food options in the Student Center and Williams, and have introduced new ones over the past couple of years here. So for those of you who are coming back to campus this fall, you'll see that there are new things available, and we hope that they'll be delicious and enticing for everyone to enjoy when they get here. Dr. Pierce and Provost McEwen, I'm not sure what this student is referring to, but we will make this open to both of you. Are counselors available over the summer? I'm not sure whether this student means academic counselors or personal counselors over the summer, but let's start with personal counselors first. Dr. Pierce?
Yes, the Counseling Center will continue to provide virtual services 7 days a week.
And Dr. Pierce knows that we have a wonderful staff of counselors, mental health counselors who are available through our counseling center. We keep them very busy throughout the year. They do wonderful work. And if you're a student who's suffering or just needs to unpack things, please avail yourselves of help there. Provost McEwen, what about academic counseling over the summer?
Academic advisors are available all year long, and there is one in each academic college. So there should be at least one person who is available to students. There are additional counselors in the Center for Academic Excellence. And then in your academic departments and colleges, you will have a department head, you will have an associate dean, an assistant dean, and a dean. So faculty are typically not on campus between the middle of May and the middle of August, but there is still a variety of people who can help you. So please do reach out.
So plenty of help from an academic standpoint and an individual standpoint. I think what the provost has said several times tonight bears repeating. Don't suffer in silence. If you have an issue that needs to be addressed, say something, reach out, and let's make sure that you get the help you need, whether it be academic or personal. A student writes, for the students who have disabilities, since there will be in-person classes for fall 2021, what if we aren't comfortable attending in-person classes right away, regardless of the vaccine? Let's just repeat here that even though we are returning with in-person classes this fall, there will still be plenty of online classes available and possibly some remote classes, as Provost McEwen was saying earlier. So if you are uncomfortable, if you have a disability that you think would make you vulnerable to infection, then for heaven's sake, please do raise this with your academic advisor, with someone in your academic area, perhaps your department chair, to make sure that they are aware of this and that there is some assistance for you in being able to take your courses online. We don't want anyone, particularly someone with a disability or an underlying health condition, to feel insecure about coming back into our classrooms. Dr. Pierce, one more for you here. Are students being placed in hotels due to housing overflow? Do we anticipate that that could happen this fall?
Yes, we have always reserved a hotel as our overflow, because as students go through the process of validation, those who are unable to validate then would have to leave. And then we end up, those students who are in the hotel then are moved over into those empty spaces.
Great. And so hopefully we'll manage that effectively this fall, and no student will have to be in an off-campus hotel for very long, if at all. Dr. Pierce, one more for you here. We're getting a lot of housing questions. For fall housing, the senior options were residence halls because sophomores and juniors took all the on-campus apartments. Why are there no options for us to keep the same room that we had this year?
We've never had like students could keep the same space year to year to year. We've not had that in place.
So you always have to re-sign up for the housing.
Yes, you do. You have to submit your application and pay the application fee, and then also be registered for the 12 credit hours if you're an undergrad and 9 if you are a grad student. And also, Dr. Lowney is on the Zoom, Todd, and so he can
Dr.
chime in.
Lappy, feel free to jump in if we're able to hear you.
Sure.
Yeah, there he is.
With regard to how room selection is done, we certainly, at this particular juncture, we still have spaces in apartments that are available. We do not have spaces for continuing students in the residence halls. Now, there are no full apartments that are available. There are only spaces in apartments that are available for our continuing students.
But there is some housing availability within apartments for continuing students. So if you are one of those students who would like an apartment assignment, then please reach out to the housing office and make your wishes known there. Thank you, Mr. Lowney, for jumping in on that one. Let's stay with you, Mr. Lowney, for just 1 minute here. For current students, if we have off-campus housing, are we able to change our housing to on-campus?
So on-campus housing is very, very popular. If we have availability if we have availability to do a room change process, we will always provide options for our students if there is availability and that sort of thing. The on-campus housing fills first, and then, in terms of residence halls fill first, and then and then apartments become available. And you have to remember, we already reserve a certain number of spaces for our incoming freshmen. But I want students to know this year, we took 136 more applications than we did for the last academic year. So we are housing well over 2,600, almost 2,700 returning students and that sort of thing. So, and then in the fall, we will have a room change process to give students the option to move to a more preferred space. But of course, we cannot guarantee that, but whenever we can accommodate students, that is our aim. We want you to be happy. We want you to be comfortable, because this is your home away from home for 9 to 10 months a year.
Very well said, Dr. Lowney. I think it bears pointing out too that A&T actually houses a significantly larger portion of its student body than most colleges or universities. Why do we do that? You might ask. We do that because we want to be able to control that part of the experience and make it as positive as possible. As Dr. Lowney says, your home away from home, and we want it to be comfortable for you. So we're going to continue to step up and meet that need to the degree that we can, housing as many of our students each year as facilities permit us to be able to do. Thank you, Dr. Lowney. Provost, let's return to you for a reminder here. A student asked, who do I email to inform the school about my personal situation this semester regarding the pass or fail option? Provost, what was your guidance on that?
Student, at this point, the semester is ending, and I want to make sure that the student is heard. So the best thing to do right now is to send it to ask the provost, and it will enter an email that we check and we monitor every day. So we will be able to pull it and begin to communicate. Please give us some contact information so we can get back with you.
Very important. So for those of you who need to ask that question, type in ask the provost and it will autofill for you. But if you don't ensure that you have your contact information, then no one can return that and get back to you with the appropriate information to help you. Thank you, Provost, for that.
Rod, if I may intervene.
Yes, please.
I think this student's question is related to their personal concern, less about the pass-fail, but their circumstances that may require some special consideration for them on an academic matter. And I think that's a different area than the questions that have been responded to by the provost related to pass-fail.
I think that's a good insight, Chancellor. And certainly if a student has extenuating circumstances or personal situation that requires extra consideration, then please avail yourself of that direction from Provost McEwen. Ask the provost and send that question to the provost so that she can ensure that it gets answered properly. Thank you, Chancellor. Ms. Peterson, let's go back to you for another one here on dining services. Are the prices for the dorms and food going up, even though we spend less time on the campus and have takeout food, or will prices be lowered? For instance, if you buy an unlimited meal plan, can you take out more than one meal?
Okay, I'm gonna start in the reverse. With the unlimited meal plan, you can make as many trips to the dining hall during a meal serving periods because it is not restricted or so there. However, during the time that you come in, it is one meal per swipe, but between lunch is being served from 11 to 2, you can come in as many times as you like to dine or take out during that period. Now, as far as prices, last fall, we had the tuition and fees committee did have a forum for students to discuss the fees for this upcoming year. And dining as well as housing was part of that presentation. So housing as well as dining will be increasing for the upcoming academic year.
Great, thank you, Ms. Peterson.
Quite well.
Vice Chancellor Pompey, could we go back to you for a security question? This sounds like a parent here who is asking, what actions is the university taking to increase on-campus security over the next 3 to 5 years? For instance, has the school considered making the campus gated to prevent unauthorized outside traffic? Before I kick this to Vice Chancellor Pompey, I just want everybody on the call to know that A&T is indeed one of the safest college or university campuses in the state of North Carolina. We have an outstanding track record with regard to on-campus safety, with a university police department and a security force that works very hard to keep it that way, and a lot of wonderful students, faculty, and staff who contribute to keeping this a very safe campus. Mr. Pompey.
Sure, thank you, Todd. Thank you for the question. And we also have our chief that's on the call today, so will allow him to expand upon and add to what I'm saying. Currently, we're doing a number of things. One, we're making sure that we're filling all of our open positions so that we do have a full staff, not only for our enforcement officers, but also as it relates to our security. We are performing security assessments. These include night walks. These include hiring professionals to come and look at our campus to see what we can do to enhance the safety. We actually do gate a number of our entrances at night as it relates to our campus. And finally, we're looking at how we can enhance our technology to make sure that when someone is coming on our campus and they shouldn't be on our campus, that we know that they're not a part of the A&T family. So we do engage our students and get their perceptions and thoughts on safety. And we're constantly seeking feedback about what we can do better. So Chief Mormon, do you have anything you'd like to add to that?
So that's an excellent description of what we've currently got going on. The only one thing I will add to that is we're certainly really emphasizing our community engagement piece. We know that safety is a shared responsibility across campus, and for us to be successful at maintaining the safety of campus, it takes us to facilitate that flow of information between our students. So, we have our Live Safe app, which facilitates that communication. We're very vigilant on our Aggie alerts, and we've opened our community policing substation in Collegiate Commons. That gives us more of a presence out in the area where students live. We started our Citizens Academy this year. And one thing we're really excited about is as the pandemic winds down, the opportunity to do more in-person training. We've got our RAD self-defense courses, things of that nature that we've had to suspend because of the pandemic, but we're looking forward to starting those to the degree that we're allowed to when we return. We also have really been working to build our relationship with our other law enforcement agencies in the area. We meet with Greensboro Police Department on a regular basis. We've worked some joint initiatives with the Guilford County Sheriff's Department. So we've got a lot of great things going on, but nothing's more important to us than the safety of our students. So, that's a priority to us. The Public Safety Committee is well underway that our General Counsel, Melissa Holloway, is heading that up. So we've got a lot of things going on in it. And I'll reiterate one point that Mr. Pompey made too. If you look at campuses across our state and across our nation, we certainly have a higher presence of security in the form of our contract security guards and security guards employed by the police department than any other university that I'm aware of. So we certainly want our students to feel safe when they return.
Thank you, Chief Mormon. So appreciate that. And for any parents and incoming students who might be on the call, please avail yourselves of those classes that University Police offer throughout the year, the self-defense classes, the assault prevention classes. There's such good investments of your time. They'll help you stay safe. And we always want to remind students as well that you have a responsibility in helping to keep campus safe. If you see something sketchy, say something. Say something to a residence hall advisor, make a call to the University Police Department, file an anonymous complaint, but make sure that that gets addressed so that we can all play a role in making sure the campus stays as safe as possible.
Todd, I did want to interject a bit
Sure.
to compliment Chief Mormon and Mr. Pompey's comments about safety and reaffirm that we, as you have suggested, are a very safe campus. And we make it very intentional that we are engaged in lots of conversations around the investments that are necessary to keep our campus safe. I think one of the questions the parent asked was, over the next 3 to 5 years, do we have a plan to encase our university with fencing? For example, we are a large urban public university. Most public universities, large universities of our size, also larger, are open campuses like ours is. It's open because of the fact that there are a large number of public streets that move through our campus. So it's impossible to put safe fencing around the entire campus because of the daily traffic flow from non-university related personnel who use streets that we use on a regular basis to access our campus. So that makes it impossible to do so. And so there will not be plans to increase any levels of gating around the campus, fencing, if you will. But there will always be ongoing conversations and investments we will continue to make through assessments where there's additional lighting, additional cameras, additional personnel to ensure that we are deploying the very best standards of campus safety to ensure that our university, our employees, and our students and their families are held at the highest level of safety we can provide.
Thank you, Chancellor Martin. Ms. Peterson, let's return back to you for a thoughtful question here about dining options. We have expanded our dining options over the past year or two to make more vegetarian and vegan options available to our students. This student asked, can we work to expand dining options in times next Ramadan for Muslim students?
Todd, yes, most definitely. We actually made some changes this semester. So we do work with our students and their needs, and so we can do that. That's not a problem.
Great, thank you very much. Provost, let's return back to you for, I think, an important question here from a student. It says there have been a number of in-person classes this semester where professors were not wearing masks. What is the university doing to ensure that faculty are held to the same standards as students when it comes to following pandemic guidelines?
Faculty are expected to observe all the rules that we have on our campus. They're not rules for students, they're rules for all of us. And I'm very surprised and disappointed to hear that faculty would show up for class in person with no mask. I would ask students to please report it immediately. Walk to the office if you can. Do not sit there silently. That should never happen. And the minute we hear about it, we will act fix it. I heard of one incident at the very beginning of the semester. I was on the phone with the dean immediately. Not only did I talk through how we need to address it, but I said the next time the class meets, go by to check to make sure the faculty is behaving differently. That is just absolutely unacceptable behavior. And I really do need your support in making sure that it is reported if it ever were to occur. Shameful.
Thank you, Provost. And we really have had a zero tolerance policy throughout this school year over adherence to COVID guidelines, which is one of the reasons that North Carolina A&T has not had to send students home as so many other universities and colleges have had to do across the country. We've maintained a low infection rate because of that really hard line that we've drawn in the sand regarding preventive measures. So if you see someone not observing those, not adhering to protocols, please let someone know. That is not okay, as Provost McEwen said. We have time for one more here. And Mr. Pompey, let's turn back to you for this one. A student asks, is COVID affecting scholarship funding for the fall? When will we know more about funding or scholarship opportunities for graduate school programs?
Oh, for graduate programs, is that right, Todd?
Yes.
Okay. So no, COVID is not actually negatively impacting our scholarship support for our undergraduate or graduate programs. We will have funding and we'll have additional funding in place. I would recommend that you touch base with the dean of the graduate school, who can share more information with you about scholarship opportunities and timing and things of this nature. But we will not be impacted by funding. We will not have less funding than what we had previously.
Thank you, Mr. Pompey. And the dean of the graduate school is Clay Gloucester, and he and the rest of the graduate school team can make sure that you know about all of the funding and scholarship opportunities. I think it's also important for us to say that the university has been hard at work raising money, and in the recently completed capital campaign, the university identified more than 270 new scholarship endowments, many of those making possible multiple awards to students. So more money than ever before is available to help students offset the cost and families offset the cost of attending A&T. We hope that you'll take advantage of those. Be in touch with the financial aid office to find out all of the funds that might be available there for you. Panelists and questioners, thank you so much for a really good Q&A session. And Chancellor, let's kick back to you to close us out.
Thanks very much, Todd. Thanks very much for facilitating the Q&A with students and their families. So I want to thank my colleagues for their well-prepared presentations and responding to a variety of very healthy, very important questions to ensure that our students and their families are aware how we intend to operate the university this coming fall. Then we go on conversations as we continue to bring our plans to closure in the very near future. And we will communicate these often to students and their families in a very timely fashion. Again, if you continue to have questions, seek feedback through the appropriate channels, through the persons represented on this Zoom meeting with you during this town hall, or with your faculty advisor, your department chair, or your dean. All will be very well informed to ensure that we're able to provide the information you need to make sound and important decisions about your return to university this coming fall.
Chancellor, if I could just offer one final thing here. For those of you who might want to revisit the information that was presented tonight, please look tomorrow on our website, ncat.edu/coronavirus/AggiesCare. We will have a recording of this Zoom session that you can review for your own purposes and share perhaps with others who weren't able to make it tonight. That's ncat.edu/coronavirus/AggiesCare. Chancellor?
Thanks very much. Have a great evening.